Espresso Podcast, your updated GOAT debate. Have your coffee ready? Let's get down to the pages.
Okay, let's go. Today we're going to be talking about the Torresan Index, the all-time great ranking. So in order to, we've already talked about it before. So basically, the Torresan Index is based on all the metrics that we can make common between all eras of tennis. So since Renshaw up to Djokovic, we have the same metrics that could be applied. Those metrics are based on three main pillars of the sport, which are titles, rankings, and rivalries. So under this methodology, we do have the most important things in the sport that you say you got to be the number one, you got to be the best player in the world during a certain period of time. And in tennis, it's largely acceptable as a near time base. So it's 52 weeks, yearly rankings. We didn't have weeks back then in time. We only had years, and we do have it now. So this is one important metric. Only on the tournament side of it, we have the titles, which are majors. You know, you see, we've got a lot of different things as ATP 250, the Grand Prix, the Masters, the finals, the Olympic Games, and a lot of different metrics. But one thing remains the same, which are the few most important tournaments of the year. They may be 3, they may be 7, but it's always those kind of tournaments. So we do have the nowadays we have the 4 Grand Slams. Maybe in the future, we don't know. Maybe in the future we may add the Olympics there. I don't know. But so far there are only 4. Back in the day, they were 3 because you did have 4 slams, but they were for the amateurs. The professional guys, the guys that we see on TV today, those guys are professionals. They were playing the pro slams, which are the professional majors, and they were only 3. There's no professional major in Australia. Before that, we had the championships. The championships also were number 3 only. So you only have 3 championships: cover court championships, international grass championships, and the hardcore championships, which were played on clay. So it really varies around the time, throughout the time. But the most important thing is that they are the majors. And even prior to the championships, we did have slams, and they were really important, but they weren't considered so before the championships. So the only really place which you can have the best players in the world facing each other were the Olympics. And that's really interesting because nowadays we just throughout the history, Olympics were never regarded as a sort of a Grand Slam tournament, but back in the day it was a major tournament in which the best players in the world internationally could face each other. And throughout history we also had rivalries. So rivalries, the best player playing each other in America, the best players playing each other in England, in France, in many other places, in the championships, in the pro slams, and in the Grand Slams nowadays. So it's a really important thing to notice how were those guys evaluated. Another thing that we have throughout the time in our metric are the career winning percentage, which you have like all matches that you've played, how many you've won, how many you've lost. It's also a constant. It's not really that accurate, but it's another criteria for that for measuring greatness. It's different getting a player with 70 professional matches from a player with 100 1,600 matches, so, wins. No? It's kind of a very, very, very different. So that gets mixed into this index as well. Another metric, important one and a broad one, is the all tournaments, the all titles, overall titles. Doesn't matter if it's big or small. If you want title, it must count somehow, and it does get counted here, and is a constant measure to follow the 150 years of modern tennis. Modern tennis, to make the difference with jeu de paume and that other sports, real tennis, and the king's tennis from the 15th centuries and even prior to that. So we gotta make some differentiations here. And the last criteria, I really would like to include top 10s, if there was an yearly top 10 rankings back then, but it's really hard to find. It's really hard, not that reliable. Sources already vary on the number one in 1 year. You can imagine the top 10 guys. You gotta make a pool of hundreds of players to pull all those top 10. So it's really hard to do. So that we gotta use weeks as well. In one sense, we're really gonna use the years. In the other sense, we're gonna really use the weeks. So then we can have that mix there. For the players that didn't have the weeks count prior to the ranking systems in '73, we do just translate yearly in that sense of winner takes all. If there are two winners, they share the weeks. We're gonna make those adjustments so that you can have rankings a proper criteria. So that's really interesting. We're gonna be talking about later about the rest of it in a while. If you guys have any doubt, please get in touch with me. I'll be more than pleased to get deeper with you guys in this sort of all-time great rankings. So thank you. See you next time.